On this edition of Lakeville City Limits, Dan Bretschneider checks out this year's Family Fun Fest and also highlights some upcoming events offered through the Parks and Recreation Department. Next, I talk to Police Chief Jeff Long about his first few months on the job and how things are going at the police department. And finally, we take a look back at Branch & Farm and see how the developer worked to preserve the legacy of this historic place. Hello, I'm City Administrator Steve Melke. Welcome to City Limits, Lakeville's public information program. The Parks and Recreation Department offers a variety of programs and events throughout the year. One recent event was the annual Family Fun Fest held at Ames Arena. Here is Dan Bretschneider to highlight that event and future activities offered through the Parks and Recreation Department.
Hi, I'm Dan Bretschneider with the Lakeville Parks and Recreation Department here at the 9th Annual Free Family Fun Fest. The Family Fun Fest is a great activity for people and families to come on out, enjoy what Park and Recreation has to offer. At this event, we've got inflatables, we have the Boy Scouts doing some leather stamping, we have baseball, we've got soccer, we've got free ice skating, we have concessions. And then a little bit later on tonight, we're going to have the movie on the turf behind us. As you can see behind me, it's crowded, jam-packed with activities. Awesome event. All right, we're at the Fun Fest. We're going to try out one of the activities. We're at the Penguin Fish Fling. I've got my friend Eli here. He thinks he's better at this than me. No way. Let's see who's better at the fish fling. I bet you I beat you, Eli. What do you think? No. He said no. Okay, let's try this out. Oh, it went right in there, Eli. I got to match that. Oh. Oh, Eli, keep going. Uh-oh. Come on, Eli, sink one of those. I think this one's going in. Go. Oh, Eli made that one. Give me 5. Eli was a little better than me at the fish fling. Here's a look at some other offerings through Lakeville Park and Recreation. The Family Fun Fest is a great place to get information on all the Lakeville Park and Recreation programs, and it coincides with our summer brochure full of activities for kids, parents, adults to try out this summer. Check out our brochure online at www.lakevillemn.gov.
Hey everybody, I'm Officer Don Nuts for the Lakeville Puppet Security, and I'm here today to talk to you about potholes. Hey, if you're driving around the city of Lakeville and you see these nasty potholes in the street, there's numbers that you can call to get those potholes fixed. You can call the City Street Department at 952-985-2711 and report that pothole. Or you can report it online at the city's website at www.lakevillemn.gov. Remember, pothole safety is in your and your car's best interest. Hey, that was pretty good. I think that'd work.
Joining me today is Police Chief Jeff Long. Thanks for joining me on City Limits, Jeff.
Thanks for having me.
So you're the police chief now, 4 months into the job. Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got here.
Well, it was pretty boring, actually. I spent about 24 years in Edina, starting out as a patrol officer. Actually, backing up, I started out as a community service officer, which involved things like unlocking people's car doors when they lock the keys in, chasing animals and things of that sort. Then I moved on to being a patrol officer. Worked myself through the ranks as a detective, as a sergeant, moving on to lieutenant and deputy chief and then chief. So after about 24 years, I was looking for a new challenge in a growing community, and that's what brought me to Lakeville.
So let's talk about that a little bit. What is it about Lakeville? You said a growing community, but it must bring some new challenges. What are they?
It does bring some new challenges. In the community that I worked in prior to this, things were pretty settled. Not much was going to change. But I really enjoyed, as I got a little bit older, I enjoyed the mentoring and developing and trying new things. Things that with a growing community I thought I could help shape and give direction to, and those are the things that really attracted me.
So you've been here for 4 months, as I said, and what are your first impressions of Lakeville?
Well, what really impresses me about Lakeville is the community involvement. I have been contacted by a variety of different people and organizations and people that just want to get to know the chief. The reputation of the police department here is excellent, and again, that's something that attracted me. I wanted to work in a place where the community and police department work together, and that's definitely what I'm finding. Whether it's the downtown council or the Rotary Club or the schools, whatever it is, there's just a great connection between the police department and all these community organizations.
And as a brand new chief, you have a chance to sort of shape the department to your liking and the way you want to conduct business. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing to make the department into your model of a police department.
Well, one of the advantages I had from coming from the outside is I got to take a fresh look, and I got to explore different positions. I've spoken with all of our employees for sit-down sessions and just trying to see what's worked and what hasn't worked and talk to community members and city employees. And what I found is that we really need to structure for the future. As we've talked a little bit, we know that Lakeville's growing. That's not a surprise. So how can we organize the police department in a fashion that will handle that growth without a significant reorganization in the future? And one of the things I've found in most police departments now is, as the budgets have grown and the purchasing guidelines have gotten a little bit more difficult, that we really needed someone to handle the business end of it that doesn't really involve any enforcement or law enforcement at all. So that was the first thing that I've done. And then I wanted to create different divisions, one that specifically dealt with special operations, meaning community service officers and our task forces and things of that sort, so that as we grow, we will have a place to manage these things effectively. And then breaking it down into patrol and then administrative services and investigations. So I'm trying to create this so that in the future, we'll always have a place to put things as they grow. I expect that there's plenty of things in the future that we don't even know about yet that will be incorporated into the police department. Things such as we're finding now with computers and where that fits in, and computer forensics and evidence and all these different things that we might not have known 5 years ago, but we'll now have places in the future that as we grow, places to put this.
Seems like the meat and potatoes of a police department are the patrol officers and the first responders. Give me your impressions of their work and how you might try to reshape what they do.
Well, one of the things with patrol is I don't think people actually realize how busy they really are. You'll frequently see them driving around, but they may be driving call to call. They might be looking for intoxicated drivers. But the most important thing for me with patrol officers is that they have great community contacts. We've kind of taken on the social services model of policing over the years, where it used to be just the facts man, put people in jail. Whereas now we're trying to get down to the core of the problem. We're trying to find out what's causing the family infighting, or what is causing the behavioral problems at school, and things of that sort. Why are they abusing drugs and alcohol? So we're trying to get down to the core issues, and my goal with our patrol officers is to find more ways to be involved in the schools and in the community, and hopefully that we'll be able to head off some of the problems that are occurring. And that would be my ultimate goal, is just getting down to the core issues and letting our patrol officers learn and do new things.
So how might the community help the police department be a better police department?
Well, one of the things that we need is we need a true partnership, and I may keep using that word, but it's true. An example, one of the things that I found in Lakeville is last summer there's a lot of damage at our parks. And I'm sure that people saw this, it was occurring, it might not have occurred to them that the kids, and generally it was kids damaging the parks, didn't think to call us. But if we can get people to work with us and call us no matter what, I mean, that's what we're here for, we're here to respond, that's our job. So if they see anything suspicious, they can call us. In summer months, one of the things we've already seen is spike with garage doors left open at night as kids are riding their bikes and skateboards. People are breaking into garages. So if you see anything suspicious, call. That's the best way that we can work together.
And there's been a history in this county of cooperation between departments and working together. Give me your impressions of that effort and how you might play into collaboration with other communities.
Well, what we're finding is a lot of what we do in law enforcement is replicated, and we each develop our own silos. I'd use the example earlier of computer forensics, and you know, it's a new evidentiary thing that we weren't so sure where it was going to go, but we're finding cities such as Burnsville and Egan and Lakeville are all using the same software, doing the same work, and maybe we can combine that and work together or work better and provide better results. Things like SWAT. We're all trying to accomplish the same goal. Can we train together and work together? Do we need our own? And if we do have our own, how do we work with other agencies? But what we're trying to avoid is just replication. Consolidation of government services is an important issue in this day and age, and we're just trying to find ways to do that and work better with the departments. But as you said, in Dakota County, the police departments work very close. That's something that was a little bit different for me. In Hennepin County, we had a lot more, I hate to say it, but silos, where we're all trying to do our own things. We didn't share very well. But I have found in this county, we're sharing pretty well.
Well, one more question. The residents that are out there might want to learn more about the police department or more about the activities that you're involved with. How might they go about knowing more about the police department?
There's a variety of different ways. Each week I issue a newsletter called The Breezes, and you can subscribe to that on email. Obviously, you can go to our website, the City of Lakeville website, and select the police department. And I also have a Twitter account that's titled LPD Chief, and you can subscribe to that. And I try to put out updates. For instance, I put out an update today about an assault that occurred during a road rage incident, and just try to keep people up to date on some of the things that are going on, sometimes just community events, sometimes criminal things, but there's a variety of different ways.
I think there's also the ability online to check out crime in their own neighborhood, is there not?
Yes, we have crime mapping right on our website, and it will show you the type of crime that's occurring. You just hover over it with your mouse, but it's a great way to keep up to date.
So, Chief, if people are interested in contacting the police department to have a conversation or discuss issues, what's the number that they might call to get in touch with the police department?
Well, the direct dial number would be 952-985-4800.
Chief, thank you for joining me here on City Limits, and welcome to Lakeville.
Thank you. Thanks for taking the time to talk with me.
Did you know the Lakeville Fire Department is looking for motivated residents interested in becoming paid on-call firefighters serving the Lakeville area? Applicants must be 18 years of age, reside within 2 miles of a Lakeville fire station, and possess a valid driver's license. Interested individuals are encouraged to contact the fire department at 952-985-4700 to request an information packet. The deadline for applications is May 23rd.
Picking up, throwing away refuse, walking. We be trash walking, helping Mama Nature look clean. Walking. We be trash walking, if I can do it, you can too.
Do some trash walking by recycling for your community and yourself.
We remind residents that odd-even watering restrictions are in effect. In addition to the odd-even watering schedule, watering is not allowed between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. on any day. Fines will be imposed for non-compliance with the watering restrictions. Residential building activity in Lakeville is one of the strongest in the state. Everywhere you go, you can see new homes being constructed and new families moving into our town. One such area is the Spirit of Branchin Farm. In this area, the developer went above and beyond in order to create a very unique community. 10 years ago, LGTV did a story about the history of the farm and what was going to happen to this old farmstead.
Henry Branchin created the world-renowned Branchin Farm in 1932 as a safe haven for his family. The 840-acre farm was committed to the breeding and development of Guernsey cattle, American saddlebred horses, and Percheron draft horses. Branchin Farm was truly ahead of its time. The internationally known stock farm set the standard in using the most advanced scientific agricultural methods before others in Dakota County. Branchin Farm provided great learning opportunities for college students majoring in dairy science and allowed youths interested in cattle judging to practice their skills on the champion Guernsey cows. At the 1935 Dakota County Fair, the highly regarded farm won every prize in the Guernsey competition. The farm's dairy products were of the highest quality, and it provided employment for dozens of workers. No other farm in Dakota County history could approach Branchin's innovations, education, or award-winning accomplishments. For 30 years, from 1932 to 1962, the Branchin Farm was considered Dakota County's finest farm.
I'm Rob Wackles with Tradition Development. Tradition acquired the Branchin Farm property more than a year ago, and have been working with the City of Lakeville for the development plans for the property. We're very excited about this particular project because of the farmstead that you see behind me and the other farm buildings that are present on this site. It offers us a unique opportunity to incorporate the rich heritage of this property in a manner that will carry it on and preserve it for the future in a new way as part of a housing community in the city of Lakeville. What we have contemplated for the farmhouse, and these plans are still being worked on, because when you have buildings of this scale, there are so many options, so many a variety of things that you can do with them. The farmhouse, obviously I think the first thing that comes to mind for everyone involved in this process is it's an ideal circumstance for a bed and breakfast. And there are very few bed and breakfasts in an urban setting. People think of that, going to a small town, going to a resort area, whatever, for a bed and breakfast. But when you think about it, when you have in-laws and guests and relatives and others who come to stay with you, having a home as part of your community, as a place that they could stay, maybe even for an extended period of time, is a unique option. The buildings, too, are just so dramatic. The house, the cow barn, horse barn are dramatic buildings. We started the process really evaluating their structural integrity. Can we reuse them? And found that, particularly with the house and the cow barn, the structure's in tremendous shape. The horse barn, less so, and we'll have to work with that building a little bit more if we're to save it. The Branchin family is aware of our plans. We've talked with them. I think that they are very excited to understand that the farm will be preserved and adaptively reused as part of our development plans. Clearly, the history of this farm and the achievement of this farm in its day, being one of the most technologically advanced farms, being an award-winning farm from a stock perspective, strong affiliations, University of Minnesota, and other enterprises that promoted agricultural industry in this state is an important element of the heritage to weave into what we're trying to do We'll have a technologically advanced community, all the latest in terms of broadband and wireless technology be weaved into our development plan to promote this project and in a manner that the farm was promoted in its day. We hope that with the restoration of this farmstead that we will bring it back to life in as authentic a way as we can as it's viewed from the street, but it will have new use. You know, the clubhouse, bed and breakfast, office condominium, ice cream shop for the neighborhood, whatever it may be, yet still have that same historic perspective of the farm grounds that existed when it was operated as a farm. What we're hoping to accomplish with the barn is to keep the front elevation, the facade of the barn, as authentic to its appearance when it was a functioning dairy barn. Then as you enter through, the transformation begins to occur into a clubhouse, and then the rear elevation will have a much more updated, modern appearance as you look down over the pool and over the community. The stock that was on the farm is represented by this sign. They had award-winning Guernsey cattle, which of course are the milk cows. Percheron horses, very strong, big farm horse, and then the saddlebred horses, which all three of which were shown at state fairs and across the country and were award-winning. In fact, the Branch and family in its merchandising and marketing of the product of the Guernsey cattle were known, their milk was known, particularly in St. Paul, as being preferred milk to feed newborn babies. Here you have the cow stanchions for the dairy barn operation, and I guess it's hard to imagine today that what you see here in its day was considered high-tech. We found many of the paper slips that have the name of the cow and its birth date and its production still in place in the barn 50 years later. Clearly, in renovating this for a clubhouse, our plans for the barn would be to remove all the stanchions, and in fact, most likely remove this floor and lower it to get a little bit more ceiling height. But whether it's within the barn here, in the loft, or in one of our other buildings, our idea would be to take these stanchions, sandblast them, bring them back to their to what they looked like in their day, and have them on site somewhere. The hay loft is the place where you come and you say, wow, you just don't see this every day, and probably more than anything is what prompted us to want to try to save this building. This is just a phenomenally dramatic space, and if you can imagine this as being the place where the barn dance would occur, it's certainly something that we envision. Our plan here is that the north wall elevation here would be opened up with windows so that you would be able, from this high spot on the property and high spot on the building, be able to look out over essentially the entire project. And again, depending on what we do with this building, the horse barn, this would set up rather conveniently for office, and you might even leave some of the horse stall elements in there as this divides up for office for the homeowner association or others. Or we may just restore it and leave it in the shape of a horse stable and a little bit of a self-guided museum. Well, obviously to reclaim this farmstead and try to restore it some semblance of the glory that it once had takes a lot of faith and effort on a lot of parts. The developer has to have the vision and courage to try this. The city has to have the vision and courage to adjust their ordinances and their procedures to permit the zoning. I mean, there's no zoning that contemplates doing this, so they have to understand and be part of this process. And of course, if we're successful, it's going to be something that will be cherished by the people that live here and the greater community of Lakeville for a long, long time.
Now it's time for the answer to today's trivia question, which is, how many different combinations of golf can be played at the Kenwood Trail Disc Golf Course? If you guessed D, 4, you would be correct. The course is located at Kenwood Trail Middle School and is open to the public. The course is closed when school is in session. For hours of operation and more information on the disc golf course, including a map of the holes, visit the city website at www.lakevillemn.gov. Here is a look at some of the upcoming public meetings that you can attend at City Hall. The Economic Development Commission will be meeting on Tuesday, May 27th at 4:30 p.m. The City Council will be meeting on Monday, June 2nd at 7 p.m. The Parks, Recreation, and Natural Resources Committee will hold its meeting on Wednesday, June 4th at 6 p.m. And the Planning Commission will be meeting on Thursday, June 5th at 6 p.m. For more information on government meetings and the role of our boards and commissions, visit the city website at www.lakevillemn.gov. That's it for this edition of Lakeville City Limits. Thanks for watching. If you experience a problem with your cable TV service here in Lakeville, you should first contact Charter Communications at 1-800-581-0081. If you do not receive a satisfactory response, you can call the city at 985-4407 and we will assist you in resolving your problem. And just a reminder, you can see all of our programming online on the city website at www.lakevillemn.gov. Thanks again for watching this program and all of the programming here on LG TV.